In an industry that's evolving so fast, nobody wants to be left behind. But when the dots don't join up and the wrong tools slow you down, nothing moves. It's not a lack of talent, it's a lack of connection. Then there's Fusion. Designed to meet consumers' rising expectations around convenience, responsiveness, and interaction, where you can deliver unparalleled experiences to stay ahead of the curve. So you're not just keeping up, you're leading the way. One platform, endless capabilities. Fusion.
Good morning, Birmingham. It's an incredibly busy room, so thank you all for taking half an hour out of your wander around this great venue to spend time with us at Keyloop. Really grateful for it. My name's Graham Stokes. I'm the VP of Sales for Europe and Africa here at Keyloop. I've had the pleasure of coming to this event for the last, what feels like 10 years, I think, with COVID in between, and also had the pleasure of speaking at it many times. But this year, I've been given a different job, which is to act as the warm-up act for two of our leadership team to come on and talk to you about what, in our opinion, makes a great tech stack. So I want to kick off by welcoming them up to stage. So first of all, Tim Smith, Chief Strategy Officer, and Adrian Nash, our Chief Product Officer. Thank you. So, what puts us in a position at Keyloop to talk to you in the automotive industry about what considerations you should have to build a great tech stack? It's a question I think most businesses are starting to think about. The evolution of technology is at a faster pace than ever before. Where we sit in that is a mix of a great history and an even better future. We're a business that's been in the automotive industry supplying technology for coming up for 50 years next year, I was told. We have a large global presence operating across multiple countries, multiple continents, and we work with over 90 manufacturers. And to be honest, I think that's moving on a monthly scale upwards. Our business has got that heritage that's enabled us to build a firm structure within automotive and understand what automotive retailers, financiers, and OEMs are looking at challenging over the next few years. Keyloop itself was built in 2021 through the acquisition of multiple businesses, and that growth over the last 3 to 4 years has continued. The big move for us was in the last 2 years where we partnered with AWS to power our technology moving forward. It's critical to enabling us to be a cloud-native business, and it's critical enabling us to start to build the domain structure that we are developing, releasing, and launching in market today. So as I hand over to Tim... sorry. Thank you. So as I hand over to Tim, I want to leave you with one thought, which is, I stand at these events regularly all over the world, and at each event we start by saying the industry's at a crossroads. And the industry's been at multiple crossroads over the last 50 or 60 years through lots of challenges that each of you have addressed with resilience and also with a forward-looking mindset. I think the point that the industry is at today and what we want to talk to you about today is what you can do to really power your businesses to adapt to that. We've got technologies coming in around AI that are really going to help your businesses flourish moving forward. And I hope at the end of this 30 minutes or so, you'll go away with a view as to what we can do to help you achieve the goals that you're setting. Thank you. Tim.
Thanks, Graham. Hi there, I'm Tim Smith, Chief Strategy Officer for Keyloop. Delighted to be here. Graham says, another crossroads. We're here to deliver principles, really, in terms of the way that we're thinking about the technology and the services that we're providing to the industry. We've only got a relatively short period of time, and the bit that I really wanted to focus on today was, as I said, the principles, the thought process behind how we're building out a technology. We're obviously a well-scaled organisation, many, many customers here in the room today, but we're going through an enormous change. I think a period of innovation that we haven't seen within Keyloop probably ever. Adrian's going to talk a bit about how we're delivering that, but for me today, the messages that I want to give to you are the principles behind the thought processes. So, what makes a good tech stack? So, end-to-end coverage of the life cycle. What we're talking about here is really a principle of connecting the dots. Everyone has been talking about this, integrating parts of the operations within dealerships, your day-to-day, your sales, your fixed operations and servicing and after-sales. Inventory management, how we price right correctly, how we get the right inventory into the organisation, how we flow it through faster, quicker, better. And then obviously behind that, the operations, we call that, which has typically been the DMS, where we're accounting, we're running the invoices. And joining all of that up should hopefully give us some massive wins. It's what everyone has been trying to do, trying to deliver, but it's getting to the absolute nub of the matter. What happens on a day-to-day basis in dealerships when we're using the tools in order to service and serve our customers. A great example in terms of the adjacency of connecting technology during that life cycle is Apple. We all know that brand, but over many, many years, they've started to connect that ecosystem, that tech stack, and provide services that enrich our lives as users. Again, that's a similar principle that we're applying in terms of the technology that we're delivering. The other big piece as well, I would say, is omnichannel. This is an area that I've worked in for many, many years in terms of the digital side of things through ATG and before that, G-Forces. Delivering websites back in 2005 through to actually e-commerce over a period of time. Now, we all know not loads and loads of percentage points of vehicles are sold purely online. But it is a mix in terms of the experience that consumers expect now. We expect to be able to start a journey online, maybe go and see face-to-face and then complete it somewhere else. Omnichannel for me is through the line. It doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter what technology you're using, the experience needs to be the same, in person and digitally. We are building the technology that supports in-showroom tooling, people who are using your sales environment, your sales staff, but also it's the same technology that consumers use at home. So that website, that digital engagement is the same piece of technology. That is true omnichannel. Anywhere you are, any place, any time, same tech, same information, delivered seamlessly. Amazon Prime, fantastic example, consumer journey online, but then they absolutely nailed the hard graft, logistics and operations behind the scenes. So we might not see face-to-face Amazon as a customer or a business that delivers that omni-channel experience. They are, because you're getting the goods and services delivered to your doorstep, quick commerce, etc., etc. So it's a principle that we hold very, very dear and are delivering, and Adrian will talk a little bit more about how we're actually doing that through the tech stack. The other one that's absolutely critical as well, transparency, trust. All of us operate on our sentiment about the feeling that an organisation can deliver to the consumer. At Keyloop, we do totally and utterly understand that we have had challenges in terms of struggling. We have been a legacy DMS business for a long, long period of time. But we also struggle internally in terms of opening up our technology and our stack and delivering day-on-day basis. We know that we've got to be open, we know that we've got to share information, but actually at the heart of it, the technology as well, and the goods and the services that you provide to your customers, they need to be trusted. The price has to be right. You can't have a vehicle exposed in two places at one time, sold in a dealership, and no longer available on your classified advertisements. You've also got to be able to follow through in terms of your promises. We have to expose this information. The other thing as well is, if you think about banking, banking's gone through an enormous transformation over the last 20, 25 years. We're into now a area where we're open banking, where we can pull our statements into different applications, share information across different suppliers. We're also moving to an area where we're starting to rate credit properly, to look at the needs and the affordability of individuals, and right-size products and finance services to engender trust. Now, we know as an industry we're going through a very challenging period. We have a lot of issues around potential mis-selling. It's been a really big challenge for us as an organisation, and you guys as well, delivering these finance services, because we get guidelines from government agencies like the FCA, and we work within those frameworks, but then a curveball comes in because it's challenged. It is all about that transparency and trust. We have to try and do the best that we can for our customers. The principle for us to you as our customers is the same as your principles to your customers. Another big principle in terms of what we're delivering and building into our technologies is wonderful word, composability. Essentially, that means that you don't have to have the entire tech stack. We understand you work in a complex ecosystem. You need to work with multiple other providers and solution tool sets, point solutions that provide a really good service, and we need to integrate and work with those. But we also, as a business, need to be able to provide you a roadmap or a staircase to an ultimately connected journey. We call that a composability. Graham talked about AWS being the heart of our organisation in terms of scalability. We build things now with the preset that it has to be hyper-scalable. Number one, in terms of being able to deliver across the entire globe. Number two, within any brand, within any market, within any language, within any taxation system. And the other thing is it's a flexibility at the heart of everything that we do. Where that leads to is really collaboration. Now, again, I'll be honest, I've worked outside of Keyloop for many, many years, and one of the issues that I think the organisation faced was, and criticism levelled, wasn't an open organisation. Well, in the last 3 or 4 years, in terms of our partner program and opening up our systems and data sets, the number of integrations with third parties has increased exponentially. I see so many of these organisations around that we work with and are value-added partners to us, and hopefully we're value-added partners to themselves. We also understand the constraints that OEMs provide to a retail environment. If you're operating multi-brands, you have different requirements imposed upon you and different working practices. Our job is to try and expose those working practices, create a unified mechanism of working that enables you to be flexible when you open up your organisation and hopefully power growth, say bringing on new challenger brands from China, for example. So that's speed in terms of working with those organisations, but not breaking the heart of your business, not breaking your working practices, not breaking your workflows, not breaking your value, your differentiation. We will continue as an organisation to work with more and more partners over time, but our absolute critical mission here and now, as Graham alluded to, is the acquisitions and the technologies that we've bought and the new technologies we're building are the things that we are integrating as fast as we possibly can. That is our primary responsibility, to deliver a better service and a more open architecture for yourselves. Now, when that gets down to the real nub of it, the micro level, now there are hundreds, thousands of different workflows and operations that are performed in dealerships around the world every single day, performed by individuals. Our job as a business is to understand those micro transactions, those processes, those operations, and build efficiency and move data effectively without manual intervention. That horrible phrase, manual rekeying of information, we take that absolutely to the heart of the design and build of all of our products now. Not a walled garden, this is about removing time, removing complexity, improving value in a really margin-constrained industry. So again, principle and guiding light. Now, once you've done that, you need to measure it. So insights and analytics are absolutely critical. We don't build technology anymore for the sake of it. It's not about feeds, speeds, leads. This is truly about KPIs, about business benefits, time, money, risk. Does it help you save time, get to time to market? Does it help you save money or make money? And does it de-risk your organization? These are principles at the heart of our software engineering and our product team. That also needs, in terms of those analytics and those insights, to be able to expose to more individuals in your organization to make actionable decisions quicker, faster, better. In the past, a lot of that information has been set behind dashboards that have been predicated by senior management and say, that's the way of the world and that's what I like to look at. Are those dashboards right? Is that information relevant to the here and now? Is it being distributed through your organization to the people who can make decisions on the fly? So we talk about democratization and using agentic analytics at the heart of our business to query the information and the data and the interaction around demand and supply in your market and the output that that delivers. So it's embedded, and Adrian again will talk about the complex bits of it. You can only do that though with a unified view, a UDM, a unified structure of data at the heart of everything you do. Clean, clear, consistent, concatenated, and it's collaboration. It is all about being able to trust that data and scale it out, and then expose it through every single application, every single piece of technology you use. Single source of truth. Again, that is absolutely at the heart of what we are doing and building in terms of our data architecture. Just two things very, very quickly to leave you with, or three in fact. First one, there's a lot of talk about the changing dynamics in terms of consumer behavior. Agentic is changing the way that consumers are really interacting with your business online. There is a shift from search marketing, digital marketing, to a lot more use from individuals in terms of prompts on LLMs. The other thing as well is that social media and the prevalence of digital technology has meant we are not looking at a buying funnel that is linear. It is all over, it is all consuming, it is all around us every single day of the week. So you need to be able to expose those messages at the right point in time and also be able to transact at that point. We've got to stop pushing our consumers, our customers, our car buyers through a funnel that we think is relevant. It's only relevant because we've built an industry through these processes. So technology has to support the changing environment, work on sentiment analysis, work through social media, work in quick commerce world and environment. It's a big impact as well in terms of our organisation because we deliver websites and e-commerce for many of you. And we're starting to see interactions reduce generally across those digital assets. We've got to find where the consumers are sat, where they're going, and then we have to market towards them. It's because this is going through a phase in terms of computing cycle. The promise of AI, automation, all of those operational grit in the gears, changing the way that we're using technology so we can automate as much as possible so people in your businesses can actually speak to customers, deal with customers, add value. Computing phases and phases through automotive retail, we've seen it happen over many, many years. And I'd say that we're probably in this area around the managed to the integrated stack. Once you have clear data, once you can connect all of this stuff together, then you can really generate the promise of solid state AI. And that hopefully will help us all generate a lot more margin in this industry, which we need. And the final thing, at the heart of all of this is consumers. It's always about consumers and it's about their behavior. It's about us as a society. How do we interact with businesses? I love this slide because, not because I made it, but because it gives you a map in terms of interactions and the way that humanity is changing. Consumer behavior is changing. I'll share this, you can take it away, it's not a problem, it'll be publicly available. But we're not building the technology just for the consumers here today, the millennials, Gen X and Y, we are building it as well so we can deliver to Gen Z, Alpha, and eventually Beta. They're the principles that we're building our technology on. Now, I would like to hand over to my much more learned friend, Adrian, who'll give you a bit more detail.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Tim. So, I guess if you think about the tech stack, right, first of all, you have to think about the customer journey. So the customer journey might start with, first of all, you need things to sell, like vehicles. Then there's a demand from the customer. And then there's the selling process, the handover process, the after-sales process, and then the retention process. Now, if you go back maybe 5 or 10 years, all of this capability was actually done inside a system that was called the dealer management system, right? Over time, it went from an operational system to more of a system of record, actually, in many evolved dealerships in the current period. What then happened was pieces of that journey needed new tools that addressed the new customer expectations in different channels, right? So e-commerce or research into a dealership rather than walking into a dealership. All of these solutions or journey stages got decoupled from the DMS and became businesses in their own rights. So what tends to happen in modern dealership networks is the system of record or the integration platform is the dealer management system, and then there are lots of solutions on top that do a specific persona-driven use case, like sales, after sales, inventory, etc. The challenge with that is every time you go through a data silo, it breaks the customer experience. An organizational silo as well, to be fair. So if the sales team are not have the data that's ready for an after-sales team, you can't have a sales engagement in an after-sales engagement and vice versa. So what we have been realizing at Keyloop is the actual approach needs to change, right? So today, lots of people do lots of research on e-commerce channels, different marketplaces before they know a lot about the vehicle as they're walking into a sales process, right? But I actually think that whole process is also going to change in the next 18 months. People are going to use assistants on their mobile phones that do a ton of research for the end consumer. They're going to actually recommend at the right point of time which vehicles they should change and where has the best offer. So consumers are going through this moment of change where they're spending their valuable time looking and researching the right vehicle on the right channel and the right price. There's going to be agents that do that sit on your handset, right? That's not like fantasy land. That's happening today. So we need to be able to build a fabric that helps those virtual assistants find, service, and help sell vehicles. So what we're doing at Keyloop is thinking about the experience layer that powers the inventory process, the sales process, the retention process, and the after-sales process. And those are what we call the experience layer. Now, the crucial thing in inventory to selling processes, it has to run through the single source of truth of the platform. From the platform layer to the experience layer, over the last 4 years, Keyloop has partnered with AWS to build organic cloud-native capabilities that all runs natively on AWS. However, the fundamental thing is our customer base uses our DMS layer for their systems of record, their accounting processes, and their integration layers. So the platform that we've actually built respects the DMS, updates the systems of record, and then comes back up to the platform. So what we've been doing is actually decoupling pieces out of the DMS, rebuilding them as cloud-native solutions. And this year, we launched the Service Hub, which is the after-sales component of our 12 DMSs that we own across the globe. So the critical thing here is, obviously, the experience needs to change. We need to be able to have salespeople that are super powered with AI recommendations, automated lead nurturing, lead qualification, propensity modeling. You need to augment your sales team and your after-sales teams with technology. However, it has to go through the system of record that is a platform and unified in a single place. So that if you're selling a vehicle, when that customer comes in for a service, you know what their liked vehicles were in their My Account, how many miles the vehicle's done, so you can offer a retention deal if it's a particularly expensive service. And then that platform then needs to be integrated into the rest of the ecosystem. So over time, you will see pieces of the DMS actually appearing on that experience layer over the next 5 to 10 years. But the system of record is core to what we're building at Keyloop. So fundamentally, I think a good technology stack is one that is across the customer journey, so that signals that are happening in the buying process can be used in the after-sales process. If you do not have a tech stack that follows that customer around the customer journey, ultimately, you're not going to be able to offer the data and the experiences to those agents that power the mobile devices that the customers are using. So, as Keyloop, we've made acquisitions with Stockbook and ATG with AutoE. We've been launching products as the Service Hub, and that's what we call Fusion. So Fusion is basically the system of record with the DMS, with a platform that we built on top of AWS that's available across the planet, across 12 of our different DMSs. And over time, the platform will become the system of record, the data lake, the data warehouse that powers insights, AI, and analytics. So if you've got inventory that's available in a retention play, it will flow through the Fusion platform. And we're doing that at scale today. So our platform currently gets about 215 million monthly transactions. We have about 10,000 dealerships connected, and dealers to OEMs is about 24,000. So 215 million API calls a month going through our platform, and we expect that to quadruple as we become the automotive middleware layer of the industry. And what you'll see in the UK market between this year with ownership and our Service Hub offering, we have the Vehicle Hub in supply, the Acquisition Hub, which was AutoE from ATG. We actually plan to launch a new sales capability in the UK market in the midpoint of next year, all connected automatically without any integration projects to drive and Revate in the UK market. So that's what we're doing from a technology perspective in the UK market. Prepare to be surprised with the capabilities that you're seeing that are coming out in the next 6 months. We're actually launching it first silently in the Canadian market because we want to make sure that it's fully baked out as we're launching it in the UK market in July this year. But the Service Hub is available. It's a cloud-native AWS organic solution for after-sales, built in automatically to Revate and Drive. And Vehicle Hub is our inventory management solution in the cloud. So with that, thank you very much. I'm glad I was able to share some bits about Fusion with you and appreciate your time. I think we've got like a minute or two for questions. I don't know. I think, have we got any questions at all? Any questions for any three of us? Probably plenty of questions, right?
Or we can scan the QR code, send them in.
Yeah.
Happy to take them offline.
The great news is that at the back of the room, anyone that you see with a black Keyloop t-shirt on, you can go and ask these questions too. So I would encourage you to come to the Keyloop stand, ask us questions. I'll stick around here if you've got any questions, but thank you for your time today. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.